All right, is another beautiful weekend, and thus time for another episode of the weekly Quintet, which is, of course, the best part of anyone's Saturday, second only to that cup of coffee you drank earlier. I hope you enjoyed that. All right, no dilly dallying. Let's get right into some quick news for the week ahead. Investors should be on the lookout for a couple of big announcements next Friday, as both the existing home sales report and reports on the leading U.S. economic indicators will be coming out. Our current prediction is that these events will have little impact on the markets, likely pulling them down some. Existing real estate sales are expected to drop down to 4.07 million, and US leading economic indicators are expected to fall by 0.4%. In other news, we have found some interesting earnings reports you should be on the lookout for due to some higher than normal predicted price movements. On Monday, check out ticker LEN, where their expected price movement is around 9.6%. And if you think that's big, just wait until Tuesday, where you're going to need to watch DLNG. Their expected price movement is 27.2%. And if you thought that was something, get ready for a Wednesday, where you need to be on the lookout for ALPP, where the expected price movement is 364%. Jeez, that's going to be a rough one. On Thursday, look for CGNT, where the expected price move is 12.4%. And on Friday, be paying attention to ENLV, where the expected price movement is 71.3%. All of these stocks, of course, are reporting their earnings and thus likely to experience higher than normal volatility. All right, let's get into our top fives for the week. The following five reports are the most interesting that Wall Street has to offer, and I'll promise you, you're not going to find these asking ChatGPT. We're also going to be talking about insider, officer, and politician trades, plus new politician ETF tracking. And just like our favorite infomercials say, but wait, there's more. We also have our classic biggest weekly stock movements update at the end. Sounds like a mouthful, but you're about to get it all right here, right now, in under 10 minutes. And if there are any other insights you would like us to track, please let us know by either leaving a comment on this or going into the show notes and clicking on that link that'll take you to our Substack page. You can also Google it, thesimpleside.substack.com. That is thesimpleside.substack.com. All right, let's get into politician trading. Our politician trading report, of course, tracks the 5 most recently filed trades, while our new politician ETF tracker will report on the weekly returns of the ETFs NANC and KRUZ. Of course, these referring to leaders in the Democratic and Republican parties, where NANC, of course, is Democratic and KRUZ is, of course, Republican. Currently, the Democrat tracking ETF is up 0.42% on the week and 19.06% year to date. The Republican tracking ETF is down 0.12% on the week and is up 7.83% year to date. All right, recently filed politician trading is similarly interesting. Over the past 30 days, 19 politicians have made 418 trades, totaling a $5 million moved. $5.87 million moved, really. All right, let's talk about these top 5 most recent. The first comes from Mark Wayne Mullen, a Republican who sold iShares Russell 1000 ETF, ticker IWB. This size was between 50,000 and 100,000, and he sold at a price of $292.13. That size, 50,000 to 100,000, is not often seen on these reports, which means this is a major sell. Next, we have Bob Latta, a Republican from Ohio, who bought Farmers and Merchants Bancorp, ticker FMAO. He bought this on June 6th, and the size of this trade was $15,000 to $50,000. Again, this is not a normal amount that we see. This is higher than normal. He bought that at a price of $20.47. Next, we have Pete Sessions, a Republican from Texas, who sold Invista Holdings Corporation. I don't have the ticker symbol on this one. Seems like our data scraping didn't seem to find that. But this was traded on June 6th, and the size was between $1,000 and $15,000. I'm not sure what the price was on this trade. Next, we got Mitch McConnell, Republican out of Kentucky, who bought Wells Fargo, ticker WFC. Not very often you see trades like this happen. This was traded on June 4th and was filed after 9 days. So he filed this on June 13th. His size was between $1,000 and $15,000, and the price is $58.07. All right, next we got Abigail Spanberger. This is a Democrat from Virginia who sold L3 Harris Technologies, also known as LHX. This, of course, was traded on June 4th. The size of this trade was between $1,000 and $15,000, and the price she sold at was $226.69. All right, let's jump into our insider trading report. Our insider trading report tracks the 5 largest insider buys from the past week. And there's a lot of interesting movement here. In fact, we have Berkshire Hathaway at the top of this list again, buying Occidental Petroleum the second week in a row. Now, if you remember this report last week, he bought, I think it was around $115 million, or maybe it was $155 million, something in that range. He bought $155 million for the stock, and this week he bought another $105 million worth. He was the largest insider purchase of the week. The ticker on that company, OXY. All right, next we have Zillow, ticker Z, which was bought at a total price of $57 million. The stock price is currently trending about halfway between its 52-week low and its 52-week high, somewhere around $40 in that range. All right, next we have ProKidney Corp. PROK is the ticker on that. The total buy here was $54 million, and the stock price is trending extremely close to its 52-week low of $1.12. Its 52-week high, interestingly, is $13.51. That might be an interesting one to pay attention to. Next, we have PBF Energy. The total buy here was $23 million, trending closest to its 52-week low of $38. All right, next and last, we have, help me on this one. This is going to be bad. Golub Cap BDC Inc. The ticker on this is GBDC. The total value bought here was $13 million. It's currently trending in the middle of its 52-week high and 52-week low range. All right, let's jump into our officer purchases. Our officer purchases tracking report reports on the 5 most recently bought stocks from company executives. This is, of course, your CEOs, your presidents, your CFOs, etc. This week's top 5 had a total ownership growth of 54% spread across 4 different companies. The first company, Adams Resources and Energy Inc., ticker AE. The CEO, Kevin Roycraft, bought 9,501 shares at a price of $25.50. This increased his ownership percentage by around 1%. The next buys came from the CFO and the Chief Medical Officer for Resolute Inc., ticker RZLT. The CFO being Evans Darren and the Chief Medical Officer being Roberts Brian Kenneth. The CFO bought at a price of $4.04. The Chief Medical Officer bought at a price of $3.91, so around the $4 range is where they both bought. They collectively increased their ownership percentages by 24% and 12% respectively. That's interesting. Might be a stock worth watching. All right, next we have Kiora Pharmaceuticals, ticker KPRX. The Chief Development Officer is the one that bought here, increasing his ownership percentage by 15%, buying at a price of around $5.29. And last, but definitely not least, we have Isaacman Jared Isaacman. He's listed as the COB, the CEO, and the company that he bought is Shift4 Payments Inc., ticker FOUR. He increased his ownership percentage by about 2%, and all his shares were bought at $69.40. Pretty interesting. All right, last but not least, we're going to jump into our weekly stock highs and lows. Of course, this is just a tracking report of the best performing and worst performing stocks over the past week. At the number 1 spot for the top 5 weekly gainers, we have Cavial Brands Innovations Group. Their 1-week change 274%. Pretty impressive. Stock price now sitting at $5.96. Next, we have Longevern Inc. Ooh, Longeveron. Don't know about that one. Their 1 week change, however, is impressive 206%. The current stock price, $3.19. Next, we have Mediaco Holding. Their 1 week change, 163%. Current stock price, $2.79. Next, we have DDC Enterprise Limited. 1 week change, 118%. Current stock price listed at $1.20. And finally, we're going to end it with Barfresh Food Group, whose 1 week change is 105%. Current stock price, $3.01. All right, now we get into the bad ones, the top 5 weekly losers. First one we got is ZKH Group Limited, 1 week stock change, negative 68%. Current stock price sitting at around $4. Next we got Biogen Group Limited, Baijiayun. Man, that's interesting. Their 1 week stock change is negative 50%. Current stock price, $2.68. Next, we have Visionary Holdings, Inc. Their 1 week change, negative 45%. Current stock price, $2.85. Next, we got Gain Therapeutics, down 43% on the week. Current stock price, they're barely hanging in there, staying in the listing for the NASDAQ. Stock price, $1.24. And finally, we have Greenwave Technology Solutions, down 40% on the week at a stock price of $1.88. All right, that is all that I have for you this week. Come back next week. We're going to be doing the same thing. I know that we've changed quite a bit. We've taken out hedge fund reporting. We've added in ETF tracking. We've added in politician trading. We've added in a lot of stuff. We're going to keep making this better for you all. Please reach out to us at thesimpleside.substack.com if you would like to see anything changed. All right, we look forward to seeing you next week.